Ah, yes, the wonderful arm brace. So here we go. We're still kind of waiting to see when this is going to go into effect. It's sitting out there right now, and we don't know much more than that, other than the fact that we know what they're looking to do, right? So 2021 R-08 changes the definition of a rifle and creates a scoring system to determine if a brace on a pistol violates the law. Obviously, it's kind of open ended, right? So ATF says it reserves the right to classify a firearm as an SBR, even if it satisfies the point system on that worksheet 4999. And we're going to make that worksheet available to you, as well as some of the training materials, so you can take a look at that and see what they're talking about. The options with these, once this goes into effect, if you have a AR pistol that has an arm brace that does not meet the standards or the scoring system and could be considered an NFA firearm, you're going to have a few options. So the first option is any manufacturers that received classification previously regarding any firearms they manufactured can resubmit to FITB for evaluation. Now, that all depends on whether or not FITB, the ATF technology branch, is going to issue you an opinion on that is worthwhile to you. So obviously take that in stride. You can surrender, turn the entire firearm with the attached stabilizing brace into the ATF. You can convert the firearm into a long-barreled rifle. You can also apply to register under the NFA, and that includes your non-licensee counterparts. They can certainly submit their Form 1s if they would like. And then last but not least, and probably the most likely option, remove and destroy the stabilizing brace if it does not meet the standard. So I can see this one being the go-to in most scenarios, but we're going to get into a couple of examples here so you can kind of see what they're looking at. Not going to tell you which one passed with somewhat of flying colors, but we will identify the one that basically fits the model, and it will be considered to remain an AR pistol style handgun.
Yeah, and yeah, like we said earlier, as this becomes more finite in detail, we will present a training tool, hopefully a video tool to you that your team can use to go ahead and train as this gets closer to implementation, especially with the pawnbroker community. We love you guys, but there's a lot of guns coming in for pawn you have to be wary of, as well as purchasing those used guns.
Absolutely. Pawnbrokers especially. So example one, and these pictures are a little bit dark. I don't know who the photographer is over at ATF, but they need to get a flash or something. Anyway, so we've called out with the circle some of the defining characteristics of this AR pistol as it exists today. The first thing, that top picture, what I'm circling there are fold down sights. And basically the scoring system on the fold down sights actually tells you that this firearm could potentially be shouldered. Now, that being the case, we move on to the next category, and that is the back of the arm brace. And you'll notice in this particular picture, that arm brace really, that bottom left picture there, that arm brace doesn't have a lot of material. It doesn't have a lot of meat to it. So basically, in the ATF's opinion, it doesn't necessarily look like that arm brace would be able to be used to shoulder the firearm. The next piece is the bottom portion of that arm brace, and those little cuffs that wrap around the forearm. Those are big enough. They don't wrap fully around the forearm, but they wrap quite a bit around the forearm, and then the Velcro supports the rest. So it does have the appearance of a stabilizing brace. It does have the ability to be utilized as a stabilizing brace. So that's really the call out there. As far as the point system is concerned, those are the attributes of this particular firearm that they're taking into consideration in determining whether or not it is a rifle, short barrel rifle, or a handgun. Example number two, same fold down sights. Right? So still a concern there with the fold down sights, but if you look at the back of that stabilizing brace there on the bottom left side, you'll notice this particular stabilizing brace, which is actually manufactured by the same folks that manufactured the first one. It's a little bit beefier, a little bit meatier. And in the ATF's opinion, this particular stabilizing brace in its current configuration could be actually shouldered. So therefore, it could be utilized as a short-barreled rifle. The next piece that was evaluated was the fact that those two little flaps that come down do not actually wrap around the forearm very well, and the Velcro is there as well. But so in their opinion, they were looking at this and saying, well, this particular stabilizing brace could potentially be shouldered. So this could render this firearm to actually be a short barrel rifle. Next example. So this particular one has the blade. This is a really common one we see quite a bit on AR handguns. But the other attributes of this are twofold in that top picture. You have a scope, which provides eye relief. This is also a characteristic that is measured and evaluated by the ATF and can be considered a short-barreled rifle as a result of that. And then it also has that vertical grip, which is a big no-no as far as the AR pistols are concerned. Remember the definition of a pistol, right? It's a firearm that can be fired utilizing one hand. So the next piece is they evaluated the stabilizing brace in the back of it, and they determined that the blade does not offer enough material where the firearm could be shouldered. So it actually scored lower points as far as that's concerned. But when you take into account that that stabilizing brace, that blade does not have Velcro, it does not offer much stabilization. So you actually lost points for that because of the fact that it does not have that Velcro. So you have some characteristics of this particular firearm that definitely make it leaning more towards being a short-barreled rifle. All right, so the winner of the three examples provided was example number one. Even though it had those fold-down sights installed, the determination was made that this particular stabilizing brace met enough characteristics that this firearm was not intended to be shoulder fired. So therefore it remains an AR pistol. So these are the things that you need to be taking a look at, especially you pawnbrokers and any FFL that has these firearms in inventory. These are the various characteristics that you really need to be taking a look at as far as your inventory is concerned and your pawn inventory is concerned. And what I would tell you to do, obviously, you can certainly reach out to us. You can text us pictures. But if you're taking these firearms in or you have them in any configurations on your showroom floor, make sure that the attributes of those configurations do not push you into a category of displaying an NFA firearm or an SBR. All right. There's a lot to be looked at with this. So just pay attention. And as always, if you need to, reach out to us and we can give you some help on that.